Hello aspirants and welcome again to Legacy IAS Academy. In this video, we will be discussing about the approach that the 2026-27 budget is likely to have. So the news are coming in that this 2026 budget that will be presented on 1st of February 2026 is likely to prioritize debt consolidation while sustained infrastructure push. So two important things are there. One, we will have a sustained infrastructural push, of course, and that is going to majorly come from the PPP, that is the public-private partnership project, whose push we had already seen in the 2025 budget. But in addition to this, another important thing here is about the debt consolidation. That means the government wants to consolidate its debt. That means not try to expand it, try to reduce it or keep it consolidated, reduced. Fiscal consolidation is what the government is looking for. Fiscal consolidation means trying to keep your various deficits at a lower amount. The most important one being the fiscal deficit, trying to control your fiscal deficit. So this is what the approach looks like. Let us look at the same in detail and understand the different concepts like revenue deficit, effective revenue deficit, fiscal deficit, and so on. So let's see what's the news is all about. So we have ICRA. This is basically a credit rating agency. This is a Moody's Investors Service company. So a part of the Moody's, which is again a credit rating agency. So based on the pre-budget expectations, every other company is coming up with the expectations. They are saying that 2026-27 budget is crucial because it's the first budget aligned with the 16th Finance Commission. Now the 16th Finance Commission, which has been constituted, what does the Finance Commission does? It tells how much should be the vertical devolution of the taxes and the horizontal devolution of the taxes. Vertical devolution of the taxes means how much share of the central government tax pool should be devolved or given to the states. Horizontal devolution of the taxes means that the amount that will be given to the states, from that amount, how much should go to each of the states. This and much more is what Finance Commission decides, or not decides as such, recommends. Then this particular budget is the first which will be aligned to the Finance Commission, the 16th Finance Commission that is, and it is going to set the tune for the fiscal direction for the next 5 years. Now remember, there is already an FRBM, that is the Fiscal Responsibility and Budget Management Act, which is already in place, which already sets the limit of the fiscal deficit. However, India has exceeded that limit, so it's now time to control it. Now let us look at the overall fiscal strategy. So there is the dual focus of the union government. First is the medium term debt consolidation. Medium term means in next 3 to 5 years, the government will try to consolidate its fiscal deficit. So fiscal deficit is expected to be about 4.8%. Now this 4.8% is, remember, it's not 4.8% of the budget, but it is 4.8% of the GDP, hence a considerable amount. So we need to consolidate it, means bring it down. But at the same time, the government wants to carry forward the capital expenditure, majorly which includes the expenditure on the infrastructure. Now, why is that the case? Because this capital infrastructure is an infrastructure which reaps revenue or recurring money for you in the future. It builds the country's capacity. So the government is not talking about pushing the revenue expenditure. Revenue expenditure is not a really good way to spend your money. But of course, some amount of revenue expenditure will be there. But the push is not for this. Rather, this we would want to lower. This is what we want to push. So this is quite a good way forward that the government is taking. Now, this indicates to the commitment for the fiscal prudence, right, and the growth-oriented approach of the government of India. right? So let us see what are the fiscal deficit projections. So the fiscal deficit of the central government is projected to be 4.4% of GDP, whereas ICRA has estimated that for the next year, that is the fiscal year which is going to start 26-27, it is going to be around 4.3% of the GDP. That means it is going to come down. Now, this will be supported by the fact that the GDP itself will be growing. I hope that's clear. Next is the tax revenue outlook. So it is estimated that the overall tax revenue growth will be somewhere around 7%. The direct taxes are expected to grow by 11%, which is driven by the income tax and the corporate tax. These two taxes, of course, are the most important direct taxes that are there. As far as indirect taxes are concerned, the growth here is subdued and only about 2% of growth will be there. This is because also of the impact of the GST 2.0, under which the taxes were reduced, right? So this looks like a not so good thing because the revenue of the government would be less. But again, this is also a good thing in the sense that the indirect taxes are regressive in nature. Regressive means they put higher burden on the poor. Hence, whereas direct taxes are progressive in nature, they put higher burden on the person who earns more. So it's good that the direct taxes collection would be more and the indirect would be less. That means the burden on the poor can be said to be reduced over here. Now, if you look at the next tax revenue position, then the central tax devolution to the state is estimated to be around 15.4 trillion rupees. Now, the net tax revenue of the center is projected to grow by 5.2% and to reach around 28.5 trillion rupees by 26-27. Now, what is this? Is an interesting map with respect to the amount that is received by the state. So, what is this map? For every 100 rupees of direct taxes paid by the state, means the people in the state, the corporations in the state, let us see how much does each state get back. So here, if you can see, Arunachal Pradesh get 4,863, one of the highest. Then you have, of course, the northeastern states need more help, so that is there. But even if you look at the northern states, Bihar gets 922 back, Uttar Pradesh gets 333 back. But if you look at the South Indian states, they are quite less. 49 for Telangana, 46 for Andhra Pradesh, 29 for Tamil Nadu, 13.4 for Karnataka, and the lowest is the state of Maharashtra, which gets only 7.7 rupees back for every 100 rupees that it pays as tax. So much money is not coming back to the state of Maharashtra from the Finance Commission's recommendation. I hope that's clear. So that is why sometimes there would be tussle also, and these states, the South Indian states, including the state of, and also the state of Maharashtra, because these are states with high state GDP, but they get very less from the Finance Commission. Now, if you look at the non-tax revenue, this is supposed to grow by 5%. RBI's dividend transfer, this is the surplus transfer which the RBI does to the government of India. RBI makes profits and it transfers the additional amount to the government of India, which is not a loan, of course. It is, let's say, a direct transfer to the government, which the government does not have to pay back. So if you look at it, it is going to be as high as 2.7 trillion rupees, right? So this is like 2.7 lakh crore rupees is what we are talking about. Now, if you look at the revenue expenditure and the revenue deficit, so the revenue expenditure is proposed, or let's say estimated to grow by 4%. Now, this growth of revenue expenditure is moderate. Why? Due to slower growth in the interest payments and the contained subsidy outgo, which has been reduced. So revenue deficit would be somewhere around 1.2% of the GDP. Revenue deficit equals revenue expenditure minus the revenue receipt that is there. It's the lowest in nearly 20 years. Next, we look at the borrowing and the capital expenditure. So the borrowing of the government of India is considerably increasing, as you can see it in this graph. It's estimated to be around 16.9 trillion rupees. That means 16.9 lakh crore rupees. Growth of 15 to 16% in 26-27. It is driven by the higher capital spending and increased debt redemptions. Now, what's the way forward here? The way forward here is for the government to balance the fiscal discipline and the growth. Now, fiscal discipline means to control the fiscal deficit, and growth means ensure that the GDP keeps on increasing by a higher rate. So, emphasis will be here on the quality expenditure. Quality expenditure majorly is going to come from capex, that is the capital expenditure. Thank you.